Age isn't always in the date of birth. Sometimes it hides in posture, in the gaze, in the tone of skin, in the way a person moves or sits. And when someone says, "You look good for your age," they're usually not talking about biological age. They're judging behavior and appearance. For a long time, Margaret couldn't understand why mirrors seemed to turn against her. She was only 60, ate healthy food, exercised, even used high-quality skincare, but the face staring back at her looked much older. She felt betrayed by her body, by time, even by her own reflection. Her confidence began to melt away. She avoided social gatherings and stopped taking photos. Only a conversation with her daughter changed everything. Her daughter, a young nutritionist, explained that there are subtle traps most people fall into after 60. Not diseases or physical breakdowns, but small things. Those little nothings repeated daily. 7 everyday habits that slowly and steadily age us. The first, the most common and the most dangerous, is neglecting proper hydration. But more on that later. What matters now is understanding the key point. When we eliminate these 7 mistakes, the body responds almost instantly. No, it doesn't turn 20 again. But the face softens, muscles awaken, skin looks livelier. Most importantly, a certain light returns to the eyes, a light that disappears not from wrinkles, but from exhaustion and quiet resentment toward one's own reflection. What are these habits? They include sleeping in an awkward position, excess sugar in the diet, aggressive skincare routines, lack of simple facial exercise, excessive screen use without protection, poor posture, as already mentioned, insufficient water intake. Each one by itself might seem harmless, but together they create an aging effect, as if the person didn't just live life, they were exhausted by every minute of it. The good news is that all of it can be reversed. No surgeries, no expensive treatments, just care, thoughtful and loving. This story isn't about miracles, but about restoring dignity, joy, and lightness through simple steps. And we must start with the easiest, water and sleep. But first, with a decision, to face the truth, not to look away, but to stay, honestly, gently, and for good. If aging is a path, then the first step back begins with water, simple, tasteless, yet full of life. We often underestimate its power, especially as we age. But the skin, joints, and internal organs all need moisture like a spring garden needs rain. When the body loses water, it starts conserving resources. And the first to suffer is what we see, the face. It becomes dull, wrinkles deepen, even the eyes lose their shine. Older people tend to drink too little. They forget or confuse thirst with fatigue. That's what happened to Stanley. He loved coffee, started his mornings with a strong cup, another one at lunch, and a bit of wine with dinner. Water? Not a drop. His skin had a grayish tone, as if veiled. His daughter noticed the changes and told him about the 3-2-1 method. 3 glasses of water in the morning before food and coffee, 2 during the day, 1 in the evening. Not soup, not tea, not juice, just pure water. Stanley took it on as an experiment, but after a week he felt the difference. His face looked softer, his lips less dry, even his mood steadier. He hadn't expected such a simple change to bring so much energy. The next step was sleep. It's at night that the skin regenerates, and if deprived of full rest, it starts to break. Sleep posture is another quiet saboteur. Many sleep on their side or stomach, not realizing that they press their skin into the pillow each time. Over the years, those marks stopped smoothing out. Judith had slept on her right side 4 years. When she turned 68, she suddenly noticed one side of her face looked noticeably older. Under eye shadows, deeper nasolabial fold, even her eyebrow had drooped slightly. Her daughter bought her special pillows and showed her the Pillow Fortress method, a bolster under the knees, soft side rolls, a silk pillowcase, and neck support. At first, Judith tossed and turned, but within a week, her sleep became calmer and her face more balanced. After a month, she was surprised herself. Her cheeks lifted, her gaze became more open. Not a cream, not a procedure, just posture. Water and sleep are the foundation. Without them, no other measure will work. like the base of a house, solid, dependable, invisible, but essential. This is the first step to reclaiming yourself, and it's within reach for anyone ready to simply try. If water and sleep are the foundation, then skincare and nutrition are like paint on a canvas. They either highlight natural beauty or distort it, amplifying the traces of time. In their effort to look better, older people often fall into the trap of advertising. They're sold youth in a jar, promised instant results, and, 5 years younger. Roger, 73, was meticulous and modern. He kept up with skincare trends, read about new products, and spent considerable money on cosmetics. His bathroom shelves were lined with creams containing retinol, acids, and alcohol-based ingredients. He believed the more aggressive the formula, the better the result. But Roger's skin became thin, irritated, constantly red and peeling. He didn't realize that mature skin is like old fabric. It needs gentleness, not harsh chemistry. A dermatologist explained the difference. As we age, the skin loses lipids, and its protective barrier weakens. That's why it needs not acids, but peptides, ceramides, natural oils, and hyaluronic acid, ingredients that nourish and restore. Roger was given a new routine: gentle cleansing, a niacinamide serum, a nourishing cream, and SPF. Within a month, his skin calmed, his face looked firmer, and the burning sensation disappeared. At the same time, he revisited his diet. Another trap: sugar. It affects more than just weight. It impacts the skin. Sugar triggers glycation, a process in which sugar molecules damage collagen, making the skin loose and saggy. Brenda, 66, had started her mornings for years with a pastry and sweet tea. She never connected that with her wrinkles and puffiness. Her grandson, a medical student, explained how sugar damages the skin from within. Together, they adjusted her diet. Breakfast now began with an omelet, vegetables, nuts, and green tea. Sweets were phased out gradually and replaced with fruit. 3 months later, Brenda was unrecognizable. Her face tightened, deep lines faded, and her gaze was clearer. Her friend even joked she'd had a facelift. But Brenda had simply stopped feeding the aging process. She added vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant that supports collagen production. Simple food, proper care, and a bit of discipline gave her back a face that reflected not age but vitality. It's important to remember everything we apply to our skin or put into our bodies is either an ally or an enemy. There's no need to chase youth. It's enough to stop aging yourself day by day. Attention to skincare and nutrition isn't a whim. It's care. One of the most important kinds, and absolutely well-deserved. The beauty of maturity is not only in the skin, but in how it is carried. And what carries it is the muscular framework. With age, muscles weaken, especially the facial ones. We rarely engage them consciously, and they begin to droop like fabric slipping off a dress without support. Nathan, 67, was in excellent physical shape. He jogged in the mornings, did push-ups, watched his diet. But one day the face in the mirror looked unfamiliar, tired, with downturned corners of the mouth and heavy eyelids. He was surprised. How could his body feel energetic, yet his face looked worn out? His daughter told him about facial exercises. The movements were simple: hollow the cheeks, raise the eyebrows, smile with the eyes, and hold the tension for 5 seconds. 4 minutes every morning in front of the mirror. At first, Nathan felt silly, but after a couple of weeks, he saw a difference. His cheekbones became more defined, his gaze more alert. The sagging disappeared. It was as if his face had woken up. A small but significant victory, proof that age is not a sentence but a phase we can work with. Another enemy of youth is blue light. We can't see it, but it's one of the most aggressive aging factors. It comes from phone screens, tablets, and monitors, penetrates deeper than UV rays, and breaks down collagen. Linda, 63, worked from home and spent long hours on Zoom, reading news on her tablet. After 6 months, she noticed her skin was blotchy, with fine lines as if it had shrunk. Her cosmetologist advised her to use screen filters, lower the brightness on her devices, and add antioxidants to her skincare: vitamin E, ferulic acid, green tea. Within a month, her pigmentation faded, and her skin evened out again. Not a miracle. Science and discipline. And finally, posture. It doesn't just reveal age, it shapes it. Slouching makes the face look stern, the neck shorter, the chest sunken. Edward, 74, always walked with a cane and a stoop. His granddaughter showed him a simple trick. Stand against a wall with the back of the head, shoulder blades and tailbone touching it, and tuck it in the chin. Do it for 5 minutes a day. Within a month, his gait was lighter, his posture straighter. He could hardly believe it. His face looked longer, his expression more open. People started saying he looked lively. All these steps, they're not about cosmetics, but care. Not about masking, but attention. Youth isn't a number. It's an inner glow that awakens when we decide not to give up and begin to live in our bodies, not just in our years.